I say we just dive right in and start off talking about maybe an iPad Pro Max. Yeah, large size iPad. You want something bigger? A Korean website, the Elec, is reporting that one of Apple's Chinese OLED suppliers for iPhones, BOE, is looking to build 15-inch panels that could be used for future iPads. Now, we've heard this before from Bloomberg's Mark Gurman. He said that Apple engineers have been toying with the idea of even larger iPads, but so far it's just been experimentation at this point. Apple hasn't really pulled the trigger or decided to pull the trigger on anything yet. Now, the Elect piece notes that the larger iPad displays is just a project and it's in its early stages of development. That seems to back up what Bloomberg has been saying. 9 to 5 Mac also reported that their sources say that Apple is investigating larger displays for iPads, and they are also developing designs that may have a notch to match the iPad's visual identity with the identity of other products like iPhones and the newer M1 MacBook Pros. So, kind of going all in on the notch design. Now, still, these reports all are making it very clear that these ideas are still in R&D land, and there's no knowing if Apple will actually ever bring a larger iPad to market. Personally, I feel like the 12.9-inch iPad Pro is already pretty huge. If you've ever used one of those, it is a big slab of glass, and I'm not really sure how a 15-inch model would be received by the market. Are there a lot of people out there looking for an even bigger iPad? I would imagine there might be some who would enjoy an even bigger screen, possibly making the iPad more of a laptop replacement. If Apple were to do it, I think they would need to expand further on iPad OS, bring out more features, more functionality, better support for multitasking, maybe running multiple apps. Maybe we even start to see them allow Windows on the iPad, more like a traditional Mac operating system. At that point, I don't know. It starts to kind of blur the lines a little bit more. But I'd be curious to know what you think. I think artists would love a larger iPad, so there's probably some specific applications. I just question how big that market might be. But if this is something that excites you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And what would you use it for? What would you want them to do with it? Shoot me some feedback, maccast@gmail.com. Now, the other thing to note about this piece is we are talking about an OLED panel for iPads, which is something Apple hasn't done yet. We have iPads with mini LED backlighting. We've heard reports that Apple wants to eventually get to micro LED displays, but OLED's been a thing that they haven't brought forward yet. And that's likely because Apple's requirements and standards for OLED are said to be pretty high. And as a matter of fact, the Elect this week even notes that Apple has given up on bringing an iPad with an OLED display to market this year. It was something we were expecting them to maybe do, and we had reports last year that they were working on trying to do deals with suppliers to bring OLED to the iPad, but it looks like that might not happen now. And as a matter of fact, this backs up earlier reports made by Ming-Chi Kuo that there would be a delay in getting OLED onto iPad. Now, the issue is said to be that getting enough high quality panels to meet Apple's standards at a price that Apple would be willing to pay just isn't happening right now. Still, the report goes on to say that Samsung may be able to meet Apple's requirements by 2024, so it's looking like we're a couple years away. And for that, they would be using their next generation manufacturing process, which is obviously going to take a little bit of time for them to be able to spin up.